Good morning. This is Professor Anderson with a little bit of feedback for your rough draft writing assignment number 3. So the first thing that I notice is that you have followed the template required for this memo. Kudos. That is awesome. It's outlined here in the PDF. And it's really very vital. In each industry has their own set, well, frequently each industry will have their own set template, and oftentimes an individual business will have their own type of template. What I like to share is that, a memo serves kind of like a receipt. So on a receipt from any place where you buy goods of any kind, you'll have the product listed, the price, the tax paid, the time, the date, the address. And all that information is standardized. It's in a certain place, and that's what the memo is. It's standardizing where to find the information. So when a busy executive reads through hundreds of memos, they know which section to go to find the type of information that they're interested in. So kudos for following that template. What I'm going to point you to is here is an example of, this is from week 4. This is the sample paper. Did you notice how this is single spaced and it's all sort of right justified, or sorry, not right justified, it's left justified here, just all very standard in here. And the first thing that you notice in this summary is, here's our problem, it causes this, I recommend we try something moving in this direction, and with your permission, I'd like to research it further. So it's very clear and direct. On yours, what I notice is that you have a much more first-person approach, and what you need to do instead is to remove yourself and just state the facts. Isolation in the workplace impacts overall productivity. Employees who are isolated from other employees and their families have a negative impact on productivity. I recommend, I'm not sure what your recommendations are here. I'm implementing simple old school. I recommend implementing interactive means of communication throughout the day and across workspaces among workers. With your permission, I would like to conduct additional research. So you don't need to start with I am writing. You start with fact. The fact is, the summary is, here's the problem. The next sentence, this is what the problem causes. The third sentence, I'm recommending this as a solution. And the fourth sentence, with your permission, I would like to further this. I'd like to conduct some primary research on the issue. So here you give a little bit of information about what the problem is. Let me go back to the sample. Maybe, there we go. So what the problem is here, it documents, this is the problem. This is the raw facts of what we're dealing with. These problems can be very easily fixed. And what will happen when these problems are fixed, so this is offering a solution, detailing the solution, and then this is saying what will happen as a result of implementing these solutions, so that this section right here is, what's the problem? Why does it need to be investigated? The first place is saying, this is the raw bones about the problem. The first paragraph, excuse me. The second paragraph is saying, we have a way that we can mitigate this. The third paragraph is saying, this is what will happen once we do mitigate. So here, avoid these types of, they're very emotionally laden and suggestive portions of a statement, like, as you know. You're not sure that someone knows this. Instead, say most employees spend most of their time on their computers, with little to no access to outside world. Define outside world. Next, by outside world, this includes, other colleagues, Starbucks down the street, and family members. So what you want to do is remove these I's. Remove that first person and emotionally laden statements. Just state the facts. Fact is, we sit X number of hours at our office. The fact is, this is the problem. This is why it needs to be investigated. The importance to fix this is this. You want to creating a more positive environment, or implementing broader ways of communication will create a positive workplace environment. This will blah blah blah. So you want to. That's the area where you want to suggest This fix will solve these problems. And then sharing the primary research, you want to give general overviews of what your writing assignment number 2 broke down the research into 3 broad categories. In a brief 2 to 3 sentences, discuss those 3 broad categories. And then here, this is where it's appropriate to move into first person voice. So using I statement. So the primary research I plan to conduct, it will include surveys to gauge general feelings of isolation and anxiety, baseline for that. So be specific. One, this is way too long. Break down your sentence structure to more concrete sentences. Identify your exact idea of what it is that you're going to do, and then give specifics about it. Discuss here, after I compile it, I will begin the process to get authorization to try to fix so here's what you want to do is I want to compile the information of the result. How are you going to compile that? You're going to show, are you going to research small selected groups? Are you going to take photographs? Are you going to present? What you want to do is to share in this section of what primary research you'll conduct. You're explaining to the decision maker, this is what I'm going to do. You're not necessarily telling them what the results will be because you don't know yet. And then how will we benefit? This should be a little more detailed this is the bottom line. So see here. This preliminary idea, what will benefit? What we will, A, B, and C will happen because of, preliminary research. How will we benefit from the research? Make certain that you're very direct on this is what the positive impact is. This is how our company will be impacted by this research, and then what recommendations that you have. And then finally, I'm requesting the authorization to begin. So let me share with you how this is worded here. Just again, and it's not that you need to use the wording, it's the structure of where the information goes within the paragraph. So in the conclusion, here's our problem. It's a busy place, and we have a problem of making sure that the paperwork is organized and on time. Next statement, with your permission, I'd like to conduct the research to mitigate this problem or to see how a paperless system will benefit. So what they're doing is saying, see how they have this recommendation. Here we go, preliminary ideas. The preliminary idea is to implement a paperless system. So they already know how to do that. They want to target the primary research for the preliminary recommendation. So with your permission, I will conduct research on the implementation of a paperless system. This is the preliminary recommendation. This is the permission for the primary research. This is how it will benefit. So that's how these work together. So those are just some suggestions for your final copy, and I look forward to reading it.